Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shills, debt slaves, serfs, peasants, vassals, voters, meat sacks. I'm a useful idiot, and today I'm going to talk about, oh God, Mitt Romney. So, Mitt Romney is now the presumptive nominee for the GOP 2012 presidential election campaign, the lady-in-waiting, the heir apparent. And, of course, after a vicious campaign with all the other circus freaks lining up to say what a scumbag and what a failure as a conservative Mitt Romney was. All the other candidates have lined up one by one to endorse Mitt Romney, and all the billionaires are all lining up behind Mitt Romney now, and the media is lining up behind Mitt Romney, and all the pundits are lining up behind Mitt Romney, and all the Wall Street bankers and everybody in corporate America is filling Mitt Romney's coffers because he is the man. So now they're calling for party unity, and of course I find it ironic that now that the Mitt Romney campaign and the Republican National Committee and the GOP want all the Ron Paul supporters to line up behind Mitt Romney now, which is pretty ironic considering that the GOP base, the RNC, and Mitt Romney were nowhere to be found, with massive election fraud in every state in the union and a media blackout. So pretty interesting that same GOP organization, GOP base, would now be coming to Ron Paul supporters and asking them to back their candidate. So anyway, why would I want to vote for Mitt Romney? We already had 8 years of Bush. Then we had 4 years of Obama, which has been 4 more years of Bush, and 4 years of Mitt Romney would just be like 4 more years of Obama and Bush. So, really, what's in it for me? We have the same promises that we got from Bush and Obama, and that's perpetual and preemptive war, big government and endless spending, the continuance of the surveillance and police state, the loss of our civil liberties, and a corporate government partnership. So, I don't know. So why would I want to vote for Mitt Romney? And here's a guy who, was pro-union, and then he was anti-union. Here's a guy that was pro-minimum wage, and then anti-minimum wage, and then he was pro-NRA, and then against NRA, and then pro-hunting, and then against hunting, and then pro-choice, and then anti-choice. He was for tough gun laws, and now he's for loose gun laws, and he was for the bailouts, and then he's not for the bailouts, and he's for the Patriot Act, and then he's not for the Patriot Act, and he's for the flat tax, and then he's against the flat tax, and he believed in climate change, and now he doesn't believe in climate change. And this tells me that Mitt Romney is a man who will say anything to get elected. He is a politician. Nothing more, nothing less. He's a bootlicker. He's a status quo, statist, big government, warmonger, scumbag. Why would I want to vote for him? Here's a guy who had the nerve to say originally that it was not his desire to go off and serve in Vietnam. Of course it wasn't. He had a great life, just like Dick Cheney and all the rest. They get all these deferments, and they don't have to go to places like Vietnam. That's where the peasant children go to die. And then later he had the nerve to say, I long to actually be in Vietnam and be representing our country there. Yeah, sure you do, Mitt. You are so crass and cynical in saying something that ridiculous. And then one of my other favorites is the fact that in one of his books he said that the Obama and Democrat stimulus plan was a success. And now that he's running for president, he's gone back and changed the wording in the book to say that he thought the Obama and Democrat stimulus plan was a failure. How very convenient, Mitt Romney. So, and then look at his background. Here's a guy who comes from a political dynasty created by his father, who was governor of Michigan, and his father was very successful in business and passed on his crown to young Mitt, who had the silver spoon life and grew up as a bully, a homophobe, and a success in everything he did, including in corporate America, becoming a corporate raider, complete with offshore accounts, tax shelters. He has foundations all over the world in his wife's name, sheltering his fortunes. He only pays a 13% tax rate. He thinks Bernanke's doing a good job, and for people like him, it is. And so, this isn't the kind of guy that I want for president. He's already told me He's already told me what he's going to do. And he's going to be a perpetual war, preemptive war president. He's going to be a big spending, big government president. He's going to be a surveillance and police state president. He's going to be a president who stomps on our civil liberties, and he is going to perpetuate the corporate government partnership. He's already said when he becomes president, he will circumvent Congress and bomb Iran. This is not the kind of president I want. This is not a choice. You know, a lot of you in the GOP base, you think just because he's a Republican, he's the good guy. But that's not true. Just because he's a Republican doesn't mean he's the good guy. And just because he's not Obama doesn't mean he's the good guy. Because not being Obama is not enough to be the good guy. You have to be the good guy, just not the bad guy to the other bad guy. So let me go on record and say that I will never, ever fucking vote for Mitt Romney. Let me repeat that. I will never. If he was the last candidate on earth and with my last dying breath, would I fucking vote for Mitt Romney? Because it's not enough for me that he's not Obama, and it's not enough for me that he's a Republican. I don't want the same policies as 8 years of Bush. I don't want the same policies as 4 years of Obama. That's what you're going to get with Mitt Romney. What does a vote for that mean? You know, there's going to be accusations that I wasted my vote. No, to me, a wasted vote is a vote voting for the same policies of the last 12 years. That is a wasted vote for another status quo warmonger, bootlicker, corporate scum. That is a wasted vote. I would rather write in Ron Paul in principle than to vote for Mitt Romney. And for those GOP that claim that because Ron Paul supporters didn't line up behind Mitt Romney, and Mitt Romney will lose. He will lose. And when he loses, don't blame it on the Ron Paul movement for not lining up behind your candidate, because you have no one to blame but yourself. Look at what you did. You sat by and watched election fraud in every state of the union, and you didn't care because your asshole was doing fine. And you were fine with the media blackout and didn't even pique your curiosity enough to find out why the media was blacking out Ron Paul, and maybe listen to his message and find out there was another choice. Because now, as we see the primary and caucuses unfold, after all these months, we found out that Ron Paul had the momentum in the beginning. He won Iowa, and that could have made all the difference in the world. But that's a victory that you took away from us. You took away from the Republican Ron Paul movement. You took that away from us, and now you want us to vote for Mitt Romney? Not going to happen. No fucking way. The GOP, you've been so unfair to me as a Republican, and my Republican candidate, and my Republican movement, and my Republican revolution, that I have half a mind to vote for Obama just to spite you sons of bitches. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.